Hello my lovelies. So today I am going to talk about why I am almost 30 and single, or at least why I think the reason is, because I think most girls, women, especially young girls, dream of being married with children at a certain age. And the reason I'm single definitely isn't because I've never liked men, or there's nothing wrong with the attraction there. If anything, I was too attracted to men too early, and now I'm traumatized. I lost my virginity at 13. I had my first boyfriend at 14 and he was 5 years older. It ended up being emotionally, physically and verbally abusive, and used a lot of alcohol when I was with him. Now, I'm not saying all of that was his fault alone. My parents divorced, and I believe that I was seeking a male figure to kind of take care of me, but that in turn, I was kind of making a transaction. I was receiving a false sense of security from abusers for a lot of my teenage years. And yeah, so that lasted for a year, and I won't go into too many of the details, but he did beat me and his dad, and it was quite traumatizing on multiple occasions. And then the reason I stayed is because I liked to cuddle with him. He bought me gifts. I liked that, I had somewhere to go that wasn't around my parents and the negative energy of the divorce and the pain that was there. I created like my own safe place with him, but it wasn't a safe place. And then after I broke up with him, I met another guy at a house party a few days later, I think, and he was 13 years older than me, so I was 15 and he was 28, something like that. And we ended up staying together for 4 or 5 years. Again, he ended up being he was quite sexually abusive as well. He was quite rapey. Like, if I said no, he would just carry on. And we would have sex for like 12 hours a day sometimes, and I just thought that was normal, and I was like literally bleeding down there, and I didn't know any different. Like, no one had taught me about what's right and wrong. So I was with him for quite a stretch, and he cheated on me a lot. Once he cheated in front of me, so we were on a night out together, we were living together, and he brought a girl back, and the bed was on like a mezzanine level, and I was sat in the lounge, and they went up to the room and had sex together, so I could see and hear them, and I had nowhere to go because I lived there. It was so traumatizing. He would also do things like, I'm from the countryside, so he would tell me to get out the car in like the middle of the countryside late at night, and I was wearing heels, and he would call me names like fat, slag, whore. So many things that really damaged my self-worth, to the point where I tried to commit suicide a few times on pill overdose, and it never worked. And then the final straw was he slept with my best friend that I'd grown up with. So that was kind of like, okay. And that made me not want to even be in the town anymore, because I didn't trust my friends. I didn't want to be around him. I didn't want to see him ever again. My parents were divorced, and my family was just like really disconnected. So I moved to Ibiza, and then in Ibiza over 3 years I had a lot of like really intense situationships, let's say, and then dire heartbreak following those. They usually lasted a few months, and then I was just heartbroken for about 6 months and repeat. And then I moved to London in 2017, and again, I fell for an older man, 20 years older, and he wasn't physically abusive and not really sexually abusive. I mean, he was sometimes, but not to the extent of the other ones. But he was very manipulative and emotionally controlling, and just really made me feel inadequate. I don't know. He was mega rich, and he would always call me poor. He would try and stop me from working, saying I was embarrassing for working as a waitress. And I worked for his company and he fired me. He would, like, if I ever went out with friends or family, he would completely ignore my messages until I got back home. He would, like, tell me he was staying at his mum's 3 nights a week. We lived together, so he was obviously cheating on me. And then when he was out cheating on me, I would just stay home and binge eat and drink alcohol, and then that led into alcoholism. And then that lasted for 2 years, and then lockdown happened, and then I moved in with my friends, blocked him. Then I met a guy through mutual friends which were the same age as me, and it was just like a really nice, wholesome relationship in my eyes, like the sweetest relationship I've ever had. And what happened there is I ended up getting pregnant. I couldn't keep it for so many reasons that I live to regret, but we began to butt heads, and we couldn't be together because we were too emotional, I would say. We weren't emotionally mature enough for a relationship, but we did love each other. And I have been single since I broke up with him in 2021, so like 3 or 4 years I've been single now. And the first few years of that were healing and just spending time alone, and my heart was in bits, and mainly over losing the child. Like, that was huge for me. That was huge. And I have now, since in the last 2 years, I found Jesus, which is the best thing that ever happened to me. I have more videos on that if you're interested. And my dream, one of my visions in life, is to try and save women from abusive relationships and to make them feel safe and make women aware that they don't have to go through that and it's not normal. I don't want anyone to go through what I went through, because it's so painful and traumatizing and damages you for the rest of your life, not just mentally but physically. Like, I still have muscle spasms sometimes, and I have bad circulation and quite a lot of chronic illness, and I genuinely believe that it's because of the abusive relationships that I was in. So I really want to help women out of that, and that's one reason that I co-created the Ivy Society, which is a just for fun, female-only friendship group where any women are invited from any background, any country. We have a group chat. We have 2 meets every month in London. Some are fancy things like going out for dinners and staying in fancy resorts and retreats, and some are simply just meeting for a coffee. We don't even have to buy a coffee, you can bring your own coffee, so it's completely free. And you can join our group chat, and you can feel a part of the community just by being in the group chat, even if you don't live in London or can't make it to any of our retreats or meets. We have done a few abroad trips so far. We did the south of France, we did skiing in Bulgaria, we're going to the French Alps in a few weeks, we're going to Morocco in October, and last night we did a Galentine's meal. There was 18 of us on Selfridges rooftop having an Italian meal, the most beautiful cocktails, and just yeah, if you go on our Instagram, the Ivy Society UK, you can join the group chat there and you'll just see the vibes is just so wholesome and immaculate. So yeah, I just don't want any women to go through what I've been through. And yes, I'm nearly 30, and yes, I would really like to get married and have children, but to be honest with you, I've learned to love myself so much that I don't feel the need for anyone else. So if I do meet someone else, it will be to either add value or because we're at the same stage in life and we can just work alongside each other. I never want to be completely enmeshed and dependent on a man ever again. Amen.